Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a revolution that's happening not in some high-tech lab, but out in the fields all around us. We're talking about agricultural technology, or agri-tech, and it is quietly changing everything we know about the future of our food. And it all starts with this one single number, 56%. According to the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization, that is how much more food we are going to need to grow by the year 2050. Why? To feed a global population that's rocketing towards nearly 10 billion people. So that's the billion-dollar question, right? How on earth do we meet that massive goal? For pretty much all of human history, the answer has been to just work harder. But that's not going to cut it anymore. Now it's all about working smarter, and that is where technology comes in, completely transforming one of our oldest practices. Okay, so to really get a handle on where this digital farm revolution is going, we first got to look back and see just how far we've come. Because the pace of change in farming, well, it's been anything but slow.
I mean, just look at this timeline. Farming has gone through these massive upgrades. We had Agriculture 1.0, the simple plow. Then came 2.0 with those game-changing tractors. Then in the late 20th century, we got Ag 3.0, which brought in GPS for precision farming. More recently, 4.0 connected everything with the Internet of Things and drones. And all of that brings us to, right now, Agriculture 5.0, the era of full-on digital farming, with AI and 5G leading the charge.
So when we say agri-tech, what do we really mean? Well, it's basically the catch-all name for this incredible new toolkit. It's everything from satellites that are watching fields from orbit to AI that's analyzing the health of the soil, all with one goal: making farming more productive, more efficient, and way more sustainable.
And this whole revolution is built on some seriously cool tech. You've got these incredible precision agriculture platforms using AI and sensors to make smarter decisions. You've got biotechnology with tools like CRISPR that can literally edit genes to create crops that can survive a drought. Of course, you have automation, think self-driving tractors doing the heavy lifting. But it's also smart irrigation, saving water, drones giving a bird's eye view, and even blockchain to track your food from the farm right to your kitchen table.
And, make no mistake, this is not some niche little trend. The money is pouring in. Back in 2020, global investment was already over $12 billion. But by 2026, it's projected to hit $30 billion. That's more than doubling in just 6 years. That tells you everything you need to know about where the smart money thinks the future is headed.
So with all this incredible technology and all this investment flowing in, what's the actual payoff? Well, the potential benefits here are just enormous, and not just for the farmers, but for the entire planet. So here's how it generally works. Step 1, you collect just a ton of data. Drones are flying overhead, satellites are taking pictures, sensors in the ground are sending live updates. Step 2, AI platforms chew through all that data, looking for patterns, predicting problems before they even happen. And finally, step 3, farmers can act with almost surgical precision, applying exactly what's needed, only where it's needed, right down to the square inch. And the results? They're pretty compelling. The biggest piece of the pie, no surprise, is increased profits. Farmers get bigger yields while spending less on things like fertilizer and water. But look at the other benefits: huge environmental gains and a better quality of life for the farmers themselves. Less backbreaking work. You even get a boost to biodiversity. It's really a win-win-win situation. And this quote from the U.S. Government Accountability Office just hits the nail on the head. Because at the end of the day, no matter how cool the tech is, it has to make economic sense. For the person actually working the land, the bottom line is always the top priority.
But, it's not all sunny days and perfect harvests. This digital revolution is also bringing up some very complicated challenges and some serious ethical questions that we absolutely have to talk about.
Yeah, there's a real tension here. On one side, you have this incredible promise of more profit and more sustainability. But on the other side, you've got some pretty dark storm clouds. The cost to get started can be staggering, there's a growing digital divide, and then there's this huge conflict over the most valuable new resource on the farm, the data itself. So let's just think about this for a second. When a super high-tech tractor is collecting data about crop yields, who actually owns that information? Is it the farmer, the one who owns the land and does the work? Or is it the giant corporation that built the tractor and wrote the software? The answer, well, it's not clear at all.
And what policy experts are warning us about is that this creates a really serious power imbalance. I mean, just imagine you're a farmer. Huge corporations are setting the rules. They control the data your own farm is producing. The contracts you have to sign might even stop you from sharing your own information. And on top of that, big corporate mergers mean you're dependent on just a handful of suppliers. You can see how the scales start to tip, right? And this leads to a really powerful and, frankly, kind of a disturbing comparison. Many people are starting to argue that without fair rules, this isn't just innovation, it's a modern-day version of resource extraction. All this value is being pulled from the land, not to help the farmer or the local community, but to make a few corporations, often very far away, even richer. So, given all these challenges, where do we go from here? Well, the path forward isn't just about building better technology. It's about building better rules to govern that tech, to make sure it's being used fairly for everyone. Experts say the solution has to come from the bottom up. You can kind of think of it as a checklist for fairness. First off, create policies with real input from farmers, not just from corporations. Next, make sure farmers have actual control over their own data. Then, give them the tools to see if a new piece of tech is actually worth the money. And finally, invest in the training and infrastructure to make sure nobody gets left behind in this digital age. Because ultimately, this isn't about saying no to innovation. The potential of agritech is just way too big to ignore. The real question isn't if we should use this technology, it's how we're going to govern it to build a food system that is both incredibly productive and fundamentally fair. And so that leaves us with the critical question for the future of all of our food. Can we innovate our way to feeding the world without pushing the world's small farmers off their own land? The technology is here, but the answer to that question, well, it's going to depend a lot less on code and sensors and a whole lot more on our own wisdom and our will to act. Thank you for watching.